My name is Mariah Perkins, and today I'm going to go over my 5th grade class conservation project using ActiveSpire. On the first page, you will notice that I just have a very basic title and include the Iowa Core Standard to obtain and combine information about ways individual communities use science ideas to protect the Earth's resources and environment. On the second page, right off the bat, we will take a quiz. We will go to polleverywhere.com where I will have 3 open-ended questions. What is conservation? What 2 types of conservation programs can you think of? And what kind of environmental issues would conservation cover? Now, being that they're open-ended questions, they will create kind of like a sticky board type look with everybody's ideas but with no personal attachments to them, so the children will feel free to put down their own ideas even though they may not know exactly what conservation is or how to answer the questions correctly. This is just so I can get a feel of what the class knows and so the class can get a feel of what they know as well. We can adjust accordingly as we go. On the second page, I will just give a brief definition of what conservation is, the action of conserving something in particular. Protection or restoration of the natural environment, natural ecosystem, vegetation, and wildlife. I will encourage the students to write these down in their notebooks as we will keep handwritten notes for later's discussion. On this page, I have a video a 9-minute video from YouTube that explains basically what conservation is, the many different ways that we can use it or that we can participate in it. It also kind of goes through the scientific ideas of taking water samples and scrapes from the trees or soil samples. Gives the children more of an idea that there's a lot of science behind conservation as well. There's also a lot of suggestions on how we can do our own part, like turning off lights, not using up water, recycling, picking up trash, that kind of stuff. When we're done watching the video, we will then move on to the different types of conservation services. I will have everybody hook up to Nearpod with their iPads, so we can all be on the same page together, and we will go over a state-level conservation service, and then we will go over a worldwide conservation service. I have chosen both of these because they're just their sites are very different. They're very, even though they kind of are going with the same idea, that it's good for the children to see that there is a lot of difference between state level conservation and worldwide conservation. And we'll explore them together, and then I will also allow them to explore on their own. We will have different types of discussion questions. Say, one, I will ask the children, what did you notice between the 2 different websites? Please, anything. We can discuss whatever you want. 2, what did you notice as far as them trying to get you to do your part? And then I, of course, will, as we go through the websites, I will, of course, explain different areas. The DNR site, they discuss hunting, which, to some people they might not realize that it falls under conservation, so we'll discuss why that does. Then there's also like water treatment and farming. Students may not realize that farming is a big part of conservation depending on how they till and the chemicals that they use, so I think that'll be really good. And then the world wildlife conservation, they seem to work kind of more with animals, but also preserving the ecosystems that the animals live in. So, of course, we will do kind of a brief um, geography type exploration and look at the different parts of the world that maybe are having more problems with their ecosystems and why there's problems, such as like deforestation or chemical poisoning or just climate change. So, and then how that affects the animals. When we get winding down after all of our discussions, we will then get into a group activity. This is another way I thought the children would have time to explore and just feel open and comfortable uh, looking further into this idea of conservation. So I decided that they would get into their groups and they could choose any conservation group, anyone, anywhere in the whole wide world, as long as it has to do with conservation. I would love to learn about the different types. Um, I will have them create a thing link, excuse me, and present to the class. I'm not going to put a huge cap on the time as long as these questions are answered. Excuse me, name and location of the conservation program, how long they've been around, brief history, what they do, their group goals, how you can do your part, and any other fun facts that they may find about this. I will require, though, that each person from the group just talks about what they found and that their work is neat and organized and well thought out. There is a rubric that I have provided in my second phase that I will print and give to each group individually. And when they present, I will have them bring that back up to me with their names on it. So when we've seen everybody's presentation, we're going to end with the following. Another group discussion with a few questions, few lead questions. After reviewing conservation, how do you feel about it? Do you think it is an important process? Basically, I just want to know, did this change the way you thought about conservation? Do you want to get more involved? And maybe as a class, we could decide to do something further. I feel like as conservation is a big part of everything that we do, I will, I'm sorry, I will put this project or this lesson probably at the beginning of the school year. That way we can build on this idea of conservation because I would like my students to learn to love the earth and to love science. And this is a very, very easy way to combine both. Conservation deals with everything from marine biology to zoology to astronomy, geology, any type of science you can think of, you can work it into conservation ideas. So, my second question would be, can you think of even more ways to do our little part to help with the conservation of the earth? Things that they can do at home, things that they can just feel like they're part of a bigger picture. What kind of science methods do you think conservationists use to determine they are helping the earth? In that video, there's a few different examples of science methods, but I would like them to think deeper about it, and that's where we'll kind of expand, where I would like to do like a growing project, teach them about photosynthesis, but then also teach them about healthy water. So, I mean, this lesson will eventually lead into multiple science lessons. This is something that we will come back to many, many times. So, and then of course, any questions from the class, I'm willing to discuss anything that they want. And as always, if I can't answer it myself, I will do the research and come back the next day with an answer. So, I hope this was everything that you were looking for in my final project, and I really appreciate your help with everything. Yeah, it's been a great class in mid-semester. So, thank you.